think that's exactly the sort of innovation that the industry, which is such a creative industry, is kind of well known for. And you're right, it may take something like that, perhaps in combination with a health passport. And this, of course, is in the absence of a vaccine or a medical treatment that's proven to be effective. I think it could potentially play part of the role. I think one of the challenges that we would face, and we've certainly been looking at this, talking to government about it, is the feasibility of testing that amount of people en route or on the way to a gig or a show at the O2. But yes, I think it's potentially something that can help us unlock the industry. I mean, what we're really asking government for is clarity over when we can move to stage 5, which is the sort of full live. And when we understand what we're dealing with from a timeline point of view, continue targeted support. Now, that could mean an extension of the furlough, specifically for, the hundreds of thousands of people who are currently employed in the music industry, and other targeted measures, just to make sure that we can bridge the gap to when we expect to fully open, which at this juncture looks like it could be next year.
Steve, we've seen Germany experiment with this concert, Restart 19, I believe it was called, just last week. An attempt to try and have a pop concert and have enough people in the audience to get a sense of what the infection rate is likely to be. I mean, how useful are experiments like this when it comes to giving you a blueprint?
Actually, they're incredibly useful. If you think where we all were 3, 6, 9 months ago, the information that we've got on the virus now, the way it spreads and the infection rates, and is significantly greater than it was at the start of the pandemic. And I think as we're learning through the process, the more insight and data that we can get to sort of demonstrate that the risk factor of coming to a show is relatively low, it can only be beneficial. We feel as a venue, we are ready to host events. We will soon be announcing our first socially distanced music show. That event is scheduled to take place on the 31st of October. We're in conversations with a number of other promoters around sporting events that could potentially happen either behind closed doors or with a reduced capacity. But yeah, any intelligence that we can get to demonstrate how we can ensure the venue is safe can only be beneficial.
And how do things change permanently after this? I'm intrigued, how, as we look at the business models that have survived and those that have fallen in the service sector, what does this mean down the road, do you think?
I think with the, when you're thinking about, sport, music, entertainment, these are really people's passions. I think fundamentally, and we've said this consistently from, the start of the pandemic, we have a solid underlying business model. I think the future events may look a little bit different. The O2 will be a fully contactless venue. You won't have to touch, any part of the venue to kind of enjoy your experience safely. I think it will accelerate stuff like mobile ticketing, which, our sector's probably lagged behind others in terms of moving to a fully mobile experience. I think the kind of cleaning and hygiene and sanitization standards that we're now employing for parts of the O2 that are open. We also have an entertainment district and a retail scheme, an outlet retail scheme, and both of those have reopened. So we're learning from that. So I think the experience could look different for a while, but, it will go back to, I know it's a cliche now, but kind of the new normal. But, fundamentally, people are crying out already for and craving live events. I mean, this weekend normally signals sort of the end of the sort of summer festival season in the UK with Notting Hill Carnival and Reading and Leeds Festival normally happening this weekend. Of course, they're not this year. The O2, we would normally expect to be busy on August Bank Holiday weekend. I think all we can do now is continue to press government for continued targeted support. I think that's the key message. The economy in the UK, benefits from, $4.5 billion of contribution from live events. And when you include business events, that's a further $11 billion. It's a significant part of the economy. But probably more importantly, culturally, it means such a big deal to many, many millions of people in the UK. And it's one of the UK's greatest exports.